As Uncle Ben famously said, with great power comes great responsibility.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Use Amazon ads wisely, be disciplined, be intelligent, and you shall reap the rewards. But if you fail to do that, if you're sloppy, your strategies are not good, you don't know what you're doing, and you risk losing quite a bit of money. So for that reason, I thought, why don't I make another video on Amazon ads? And this video will be not necessarily for the beginner, where I just walk you through all the basics. There already is a video like that on this channel, which I encourage you to check out if you feel like some of what I'm going to be talking about here is going to be a little bit over your head. But yeah, this video will be to help you get a better grasp of some core concepts that relate to Amazon ads. Another thing I want to preface here before we dive into the actual 3 points is that Amazon ads have become so sophisticated over the past years that there are many ways to approach them. There are many ways to test your custom texts, to test different books and different targets and whatnot. There's many ways to approach them, but ultimately what we're going after the same thing with any and every strategy. We're trying to find the best targets, best keyword targets, best product targets with the best and find which are the best bids. So essentially we're trying to make the most of our money. So each and every strategy will be going towards those goals. And my strategy, I would say, falls into the 80-20 philosophy. A lot of my strategies in here in self-publishing, in business or whatever, they fall into the 80-20 category. If you don't know what that is, that's Pareto's principle. He was an economist in the previous century. You can look it up, but basically it says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your inputs. I go in there and basically I just take the most effective actions that I can take to get those 80%, get that 80% outcome. And I'm not necessarily trying to spend my whole day and my whole life optimizing my Amazon ads. I'd rather be, putting that time I'd rather be using that time and that energy to either be creating something new or advancing other areas rather than, squeezing every single penny. Anyway, that's just some of my philosophy here. There's many people sharing things and there's many people giving you insights, and it can be a bit confusing to understand what is what. So I just share my core philosophy behind each of the points that I'm about to share. Point 1, what I call the general strategy. So this basically is the approach of how you find the most profitable keywords and the most profitable product targets and the most profitable category targets. It's also how you get to finding the best bid prices for each of these. So essentially that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to find the best targets and the best bids for each of the best targets. All right, so how exactly does this work? How does this happen? So you go ahead and you start setting up your campaign. And once you get to the point where you're selecting your category targets or your product targets or keyword targets, let's say you're doing keyword targets, for example, I like to start with roughly 40 to 50 keyword targets at first. And where you start with, which keyword targets are going to be the most effective are the ones that are usually at least, if you don't know where to start, usually the ones that are going to be the most effective are the ones that are most closely related to what your book actually is. Let's say you're doing Python for beginners, coding for beginners, whatever. So obviously the keyword that's going to be work the best for that is coding for beginners. So when you don't know where to start there. Usually the more related, the better the conversion rate is going to be. Now you can start with already, throw in a huge list of keywords in there, like 1,000 keywords already at first, but I like to, just for the sake of efficiency and the sake of ease, I like to start with maybe 50 at first and then keep adding them over time. At least that's how I like to work. So that part is kind of up to you, but essentially it is advisable to have a large list of keywords. But anyway, out of that large list, usually there's going to be just a couple of top performers. Again, that 80-20 idea comes into play. There's going to be a couple of top performers out of all of your targets, and that's where most of the focus is going to go as well later on. So what I would recommend is that you pick, you go to the conservative side and you pick a bid price that is closer to those 15 cents. It could be 20 cents, it can be 15, it can be 17, something in that range. You're kind of being more conservative. You're not really sure yet if that target is going to convert well or it's going to be, wasting you money. And so you start there on the lower end. Let's say you pick 15 cents for a given product target, and you let it sit there. You let it sit for some time. Ideally, what you're doing is you're looking for a certain number of clicks. Then you go ahead and launch that campaign, and then you just wait, at least for a couple of days. How long should you wait for? That depends on a couple of different things. It's not really set in stone. You should wait 3 days. You should wait 5 days. It's mostly about how many clicks that this product target gets, and out of those clicks, how much did you pay for those clicks, and then you get conversions for those clicks. That's what actually matters. It's not necessarily how long you should wait for, like a given set schedule, like a formula. I would say probably come back in maybe 3 days, come back in maybe 5 days, and then you can come back and have a look at the results. All right, so let's say those 3 days have passed, you come back to look at your campaign, and let's say you have a couple of different scenarios, just for the sake of explanation. Okay, so scenario number 1, for any given target, let's say it's a keyword target, you haven't gotten almost any impressions. Let's say you have just 50 impressions, which is very low, and you're thinking, oh, I thought this was a great target. Why is it not moving? Well, in that case, more than likely, your bid is just too low. So I would recommend in that case that you raise up your bid. You go from those 15 cents that we had in our example, you maybe raise it to 20, maybe you raise it up to 25, and you see what happens. The conservative approach is to raise slowly. The more I want results quickly is you raise it faster. You raise it to those 25 or those 30 cents from there. And then again, you come back and you see how the results, what results that brought you. Scenario number 2 is you're getting impressions, you are getting clicks, but you're not getting orders. So what should you do in this case? Well, there's a couple of scenarios. So in this scenario, what I'm looking for is I want to be sure that this target is not effective. This target, it's not a match with my product, it's not a match with my book. And so, I should kill it. So how many clicks is enough clicks for you to be sure of that? For me, I need to see at least 40 to 50 clicks. Maybe 35 could be minimum. If I see that many clicks over a few weeks' time, then I know that this target is not just a good match, and I turn it off, and I know that most likely it's going to be a waste of money. But if it just got 5 clicks or 10 clicks and no sales yet, it might be a good idea just to hold off and wait for this target to get more clicks. It might just be those 10 specific clicks were not the right customers. So you do have these fluctuations in the in the world. The world is messy, so it doesn't necessarily mean that out of 10 clicks you did not get any sales. It doesn't yet mean that this target is bad. But whereas when we're approaching 40 or 50, 60, it's pretty clear that if you got no sales, it's probably not the best target, and you're probably losing money unless these clicks are super cheap. But again, that's kind of a special case scenario. The next, let's say for an individual target, you are getting an ACOS that is too high than you would like it to be. Let's say, for example, it's 46%. ACOS stands for advertising cost of sales. For every sale, you're spending 46% on advertising. But remember, every sale, that includes the print price, that includes the cut that goes to Amazon, and some percentage of that sale is the royalty that goes to you. So you're actually going into a minus, so you're losing money. And so what should you do in this scenario? On this imaginary target, you're losing money, it's at 46% ACOS. Then in that case, the only thing to do, there's 2 options. You either turn down the bid cost, so you bid less, you're bidding, let's say you're bidding those 15 cents and you see it's not really working, then in that case, if ACOS is too high for you, you just lower that bid cost. And so you will be spending less money, getting probably slightly less clicks, but the clicks will be cheaper, the amount you pay for those clicks will be cheaper, and the conversion rate will be somewhat similar, and therefore your ACOS could go down. There's never any guarantees of anything. You have to be constantly testing, but that's what you should do. That's one of the optimal things to do in that scenario. And if it's still not working after that, you reduce it and the ACOS is still really high, it's not really where you like it to be, then it might be a good idea to kill that specific product or keyword or category target. If ACOS is in a place where it is okay, for you, let's say it's 25% of the cost of every, the retail cost of your book, then that is okay. You have two options. You either leave it where it is, or again, you lower the bid cost in an attempt to make the ACOS lower. Then the last condition, if ACOS is really low, like maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 12%, that's really, really good. What you can do in that scenario, you're obviously making, it's a really good ROI at that rate. 10%, 5% is very rare. Like let's say 5, 10, 12, 15, all of those are really low ACOS rates. So that means you're having a great return on your investment, great return on your ad spend. And what to do in that scenario? Again, you can just leave it as it is if you're satisfied, or you can, if you want to scale it up, if you can see, if you want to see if you can get more clicks whilst, maintaining an ACOS that is satisfactory to you. So scaling the ad up, getting your book seen by more people, then in that case, you would just raise up the bid for this target. Essentially, in every scenario, what you're doing is you're doing one of three things. You're either leaving it where it is, you're either raising the bid cost, or you're lowering the bid cost based on the data. So you let the data guide your decisions. And I hope all of those scenarios kind of help to kind of highlight some of the thinking behind optimizing and working with Amazon ads. All right, so the next strategy / concept that I want to share here with you guys is working with the different types of ad campaigns that Amazon allows us to do. So as we know, there is the automatic targeting campaign, there is the product targeting campaign, and 3, there is the keyword targeting campaign. So which one should you do? Is one better than the other? How should you approach this? Well, I recommend that you actually do all 3 of them. I used to be kind of against automatic targeting. I didn't like trusting Amazon with everything. It's basically automatic targeting is when Amazon basically is going to do all of the targeting automatically for you. You basically say, this is how much I'm willing to pay for a click, and you just show this book wherever you think it's going to most likely result in a sale. So I used to be against that, but there are some instances where automatic ads have worked out very beautifully for myself. So I recommend that you actually do all 3 of these campaigns for every book that you want to advertise. And so why all 3 of them? That's because if you do test out all 3, you are most likely to discover all of the best, the best opportunities, the best targeting options. And so you're not going to miss out something just because you ignored something due to being skeptical. So test out, do an automatic targeting campaign. Again, I recommend that you be more conservative. Next, do the, as always, keyword targeting campaigns. Keywords usually are the most effective. If you were looking at click to purchase ratio, keywords are always the most effective. I've tested multiple marketplaces, US, Germany, France, UK, all of them, and this is usually the case. Keywords are far more targeted, they're far more, there's a strong intention. When you type something, there's a much stronger intention in the customer that they're actually going to purchase. But keywords, for that reason, they're also more expensive. And then we have product targeting. Product targeting tends to be cheaper. The clicks tend to be cheaper, and so you can find some very profitable targets there. So test all 3 of them, leave no stone unturned, and have a testing mentality. So therefore, it does make sense to test out all 3, not be very dogmatic about it. Oh, this doesn't work, this does work, because an important thing to raise here is that every niche is quite different. One niche is different to the next, and some niches are going to be very crowded. The competition is going to be very stiff. Other niches are going to be very, not that crowded, and ideally some niches are going to be, with huge demand, little competition. But that's when you're early in on a new trend. And therefore, with this approach, you're doing all 3 of them. With this approach, you're going to find what works for you and your specific case and your specific book and your specific niche. Concept number 3 is the loss strategy, what I call the loss strategy. Basically, what it means is where you are intentionally, knowingly losing money on your ads, but you are using that approach to boost your rankings. You are feeding data into the algorithms. This is best for when your book is fresh in the store. You can use Amazon ads to gain rankings, to boost your rankings. Let's say you're doing, again, let's use the example, Python for beginners, and you're sending traffic, you're aggressively sending clicks for your book for that specific search term. And when Amazon sees that people are converting, let's say you have a great book in this great niche, it's great timing for it, and Amazon sees that people are clicking, Amazon sees that people are buying, Amazon likes this, therefore Amazon ranks you very high or relatively high for that term on page number 1, ideally first 5 results, and maybe you'll be fortunate enough to get in some of the top results for that very competitive and very high in demand search term. And so that's how you use it in that way. But be very, approach this with caution. This is best for those that kind of, you've done some of the more basic stuff and you're kind of confident, you've seen how the system works, and you can kind of be more creative, you can be more playful with how you approach it. So essentially, let's say for this product target, you could be, having an ACOS of like 50%, but you clearly see that your organic sales are in your dashboard, you see that your organic sales are going up, and you see that your rankings are going up. It's helping you to get reviews as well. And so all of that kind of outweighs the loss that you're getting in the spend, in the ad spend. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for this video. I hope it helped to maybe deepen your understanding a little bit. You picked up something new that you can implement very quickly. But Amazon ads is one of those things that's really worth studying and going deep on, because now they've already become very significant, and those who are willing to spend money to get their book seen have a huge edge over those who are afraid to spend money to get their books seen, who are afraid to learn this. They already have an edge over that, and in the future, I guarantee you that ads will actually become even more of a staple in the self-publisher's tool set, and even more a staple in how the whole process works. And how do I know that? Is basically Amazon. Amazon is already making a huge amount of money on this advertising part of their platform, and so it just, from a business sense, it's clear to see where this is going to go. You will benefit from this not just in the near future, but in the farther future as well. So yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful. It was kind of in-depth and detailed, as I like to always do it. But my main goal is not to give you, a short little video. I want to help to deepen your understanding, so you can actually succeed. So yeah, guys, that is it for this one. A lot of exciting stuff, by the way, in the pipeline coming in the near future. And I will see you then. Bye-bye.